Hello, my name is William Wood. I'm the Honors Program Director for Criminology and Criminal Justice, and today I'll be talking to you about information for applying for honors and what the honors degree is all about for 2021. Specifically, I'll be walking you through a description of honors, what it is, what the courses are, as well as the dissertation requirements, reasons for considering whether this degree is appropriate for you, and the application process. Honors is generally a one-year degree full-time or a two-year degree part-time. This is for students who want to improve their knowledge and skills of criminology and criminal justice through advanced coursework and through the completion of an original research project, which is your dissertation. The purpose of honors is to allow students to gain this knowledge in preparation for postgraduate studies. This is HDR studies, PhD, etc. Also to be more competitive for research policy and practitioner jobs in industry and government, as well as for career advancement for people that already hold such positions. The honors year, or 2 years for part-time, consists of 4 courses on advanced methods, 1 qualitative, 1 quantitative, 1 research design, and 1 course on contemporary issues in criminology and criminal justice. It also consists over the course of that year of supervised research, working closely alongside a supervisor or, in some cases, 2 supervisors, where students produce an original piece of research on their choice. Generally speaking, COVID year was somewhat of an exception, but generally speaking, students have a quite strong cohort experience of working together with honor students and academic staff to learn how research is done, to learn how to gain entry into HDR, and to orient coursework towards these goals. At this moment, we don't know what next year will look like. We have made amendments that allow students to work more closely and collaboratively online. We're certainly anticipating having these things in place if it is the case that COVID is still not resolved or not looking better next year. So if you have further questions about that, you can follow up with me. My contact's at the end, but if you have specific questions about what this looks like in terms of COVID, those are happy to address those questions via email or follow up with a phone call with you. So the program structure is full-time. As I mentioned, 1 year, 4 courses: qualitative social research, quantitative social research, managing research projects, and contemporary perspectives on crime. 3 of these courses happen in T1, which is the qualitative, quantitative, and thesis. The contemporary happens in T2. You're also taking thesis research courses, which consist of your time spent with your supervisors, as well as the work that you complete individually on your dissertations. For those of you that choose to do the degree part-time, you take 2 courses, qualitative, quantitative, in T1, year 1. You take the contemporary perspectives class in T2, year 1, the managing research projects course in T1, year 2, and then the thesis research in T2, year 2. Glad I got that right. A little bit about the courses. The quantitative social research is an advanced methods course where you work closely with, and I should mention that all of these courses are much smaller than what you would have experienced at the undergraduate. You generally be working with between 3 or 4, maybe a max of 6 students in other classes. The quantitative methods is designed to increase your skill base in data management and analysis. So here you're learning more advanced statistical methodologies, regression analysis, for example, as well as learning how to manage data, learning how to analyze it in statistical software. Qualitative social research is a focus on research design and methods in interviewing, participant research, and other non-numerical types of research. The Managing Research Projects course, which you would take if you're full-time in T1, year 1, is a class that walks you through the steps of your dissertation, beginning with your literature review and then your methodology. So from the very beginning, from as soon as you start, there's a course along with your supervisors that are beginning to set you up for your completion of your dissertation. Finally, the last class, Contemporary Perspectives on Crime, focuses on topics in advanced criminological theory, contemporary issues in criminal justice. Along with your coursework, the dissertation is 50% of your honors year. This is supervised research where the outcome is a 15,000 word, more or less 50,000 word piece of original research. You develop this working closely with your supervisor or supervisors who have a shared interest with you in your topic to follow a kind of blueprint for walking through the honors year step by step towards the goal of completing your dissertation. So this consists first of developing research questions and a research framework with your supervisors, identifying appropriate data collection strategies and methodologies, situating this research within appropriate literatures and theoretical perspectives, and collecting and analyzing the data, writing up your findings, and then you submit generally in the last week in October in T2. I should mention as well that for students that enroll in honors, you generally do your coursework at one campus or the other, but you can have supervisors on either campus, and this happens every year. This is quite normal. So the dissertation then is this final product of this ongoing work that you have over the course of the year with your supervisors. As I mentioned, it's a maximum 15,000 words inclusive. It's integrated, as I mentioned, with the Managing Research course, so nobody expects you to just show up and start working on your own. There's a tremendous amount of front-end work that goes into preparing you for the writing up and the final product of your dissertation. The structure of the dissertation may vary somewhat depending on your research questions and your research framework, but it generally includes things that you would be familiar with from reading many journal articles over the course of your undergraduate degree, including an introduction, review of literature, discussion of data and methods, presentation of results, discussion, and conclusion. So the aim of the dissertation is to produce a strong piece of research that allows students to learn how to undertake and complete an important original piece of research of their choice, to develop and utilize more advanced methodologies, and to address important research questions in criminology and criminal justice. And it's also important because many of our students who end up doing honors, many of our students who do honors end up doing their PhDs. And they often end up publishing work in conjunction with a supervisor from their dissertation. So one of the particular strengths of honors at Griffith is this collaboration for students that go on to do or that are interested in doing HDR research in the collaboration with their supervisors towards academic or research careers. So the number of staff we have, for those of you that are familiar with our program, the number of staff we have is significant. So there's not much, I think, that is out of our ability to supervise in terms of student areas of research. Some of the things that we supervise and work in more frequently include focus on offenders, offender decision-making, developmental life course criminology, youth crime and justice, youth delinquency, recidivism. We also focus on offenses, white-collar crime, organized crime, crime analysis, crime commission processes, situational crime prevention, victimization. All of these areas Griffith is particularly strong in. And finally, social responses or criminal justice responses to crime, including gender crime and justice, prisons, imprisonment, corrections, state power and civil liberties, attraction and retention of police personnel, innovative policing, strategies and operational practice, and innovative and restorative justice approaches to offending and crime. So this is a lot, right? So what we suggest for those of you that are interested in honors to start thinking about topics you might be interested in for your dissertation is to view the staff CCJ pages. And I've put the link up here, but you can just type in CCJ staff Griffith into your web browser and it'll come up for you. You would then, and you should feel free to contact staff directly. If you're a little bit reticent to do so, you can absolutely contact me. My email will be at the end of the presentation, and I'll facilitate an introduction for you to staff that you may be interested in talking to. So you should look over staff research and interest, and then speak to several staff members that are doing work in an area or areas that you find interesting. Set up time to talk to them. They'll gladly make time on Teams or Zoom or over the phone. Everybody's working in a COVID-aware environment at the moment, so you shouldn't have to plan to come into campus for that. Well, I said I'd put my email up at the end. It is, but it's there as well. If you have any questions about this, please just email me directly, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Finally, I will mention that for those of you that are thinking about doing honors, it's not just people in your area, but it's people that you might click with or seem to get along with well. Many of you will already have had staff that you like to work with as undergraduates, and many of our honors students, in fact, continue working with those staff at the honors level, continuing on working with staff that they already know that they have a good relationship with, because this is a close working relationship, and students should be able to communicate and work well with their supervisors, and it's really an essential part of your dissertation. For those students that are studying full-time, we offer a competitive round of honors scholarships. I think last year we had 3 honors scholarships. The criteria for the scholarship as well as information is provided here at these links. This is $6,000 a year, and it's paid in 2 installments of $3,000. This is quite helpful every year for honors students, and if you have a competitive GPA, you should feel free to reach out to me and talk to me about that as well. There's also a variety of other scholarships available on the Griffith Scholarship webpage, and the link is there for you as well. So honors students are undoubtedly the strongest. They come from the strongest parts of our undergraduate cohorts. And they tend to take honors for one of 2 reasons. They either wish to pursue a PhD and then go on and do work in research or academic areas, or they want to become more competitive for areas of employment that they're interested in. And completing the honors year demonstrates to employers that graduates have enhanced analytical skills, as well as excellent verbal and written communication skills. We do know from past graduates who have gone on to work in industry and government that there is a certain class of jobs at which they don't really even look at people without an honors degree because of the increased skills around qualitative, quantitative, and familiarity with research. Also, our graduate destination surveys show that honors graduates have a better success getting a job more quickly. In the past, we have not had a problem graduating our honor students into excellent positions, whether they be movement towards HDR and then eventually academic jobs in industry, with government, and so on. So if you're interested in honors, then you need to contact me, do that via email. I'll happily set up time to talk to you either on the phone or Teams to discuss your application, to walk you through the process. You should also begin to speak to potential supervisors, ideally by November. Many academics, I would say most academics, take their leave in November, December, January. So by that point, they may be unreachable, or they may not be able to get back to you in a reasonable amount of time. So even though the applications are due January 31st, you have to have all of this lined up well ahead of time. So I encourage you to be doing this in October and November. Do not wait till the end of January on the assumption that people will be readily available to get back to you. Also, as I mentioned, you should apply on the campus where you intend to do your coursework, but you can absolutely have a supervisor on the other campus. We have some cases where we have one supervisor at Mount Gravatt, one supervisor in the Gold Coast, and so on. And then finally, you'll lodge your online application at the student, or you can lodge online or at the Student Administration Center with your accompanying documentation. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hear from a couple of our past honor students that have gone into different positions. They'll tell us a little bit about what they've been able to do with their degree, share some insight into the value of the degree for employment, and I think give it a little bit of hopefully direction into whether or not you think this degree is appropriate for you. So let's go ahead and hear from them now.
Hi, my name is Lucy Farrell. I graduated from a Bachelor of Criminology and Criminal Justice with honours in 2016, and I currently work for the Australian Federal Police. So the skills that I learnt throughout my criminology degree have really helped me in my early career, namely getting an understanding of government and law and how that affects the organisation that I'm currently working in. My honours in cyber fraud really helped me gain an understanding of an area that provided a sort of specialisation for when I entered my career path. So I'm currently working within digital forensics at the Australian Federal Police, and having that understanding of cyber fraud and theoretical perspectives of cyber fraud have really helped me integrate into the team. So criminology is a fantastic field with a variety of career paths. From my cohort, I have friends that are now working in probation and parole, corrections, state policing organisations, law practices, and academia. I think the biggest highlight of my career so far is that you're constantly learning new things, whether that's new skills, new knowledge, and new ways to do things. So some of my favourite courses throughout my degree were social research methods, law, government and policy, and professional practice. I really enjoyed social research methods because it allowed me to explore an interest area and explore research and see whether I wanted to do honours or not. So I found that really helpful in my final year. My studies at Griffith have given me practical skills that have really helped in starting my career, particularly professional practice in the final year of my degree. It allowed me to do student placement with the Queensland Police Service in the Fraud and Cybercrime group, and I found that extremely beneficial in that it helped me transition into a professional career a lot easier. So I had numerous highlights while I was at Griffith studying with the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice. I had a heap of opportunities to attend professional development, mainly networking opportunities, opportunities to enhance my communication and interpersonal skills, which really helped me when I started my career. I really enjoyed the social aspect of studying at Griffith as well. The school has a student society, the Criminology Student Society, which through my involvement with them, I was able to make lifelong friends. I found the teaching staff at the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice extremely supportive and approachable. They're genuinely interested in you and your goals and will do anything to help you achieve them. I think a criminology degree gives a lot of options to graduates. The skills you learn throughout your degree are really transferable and can be applied to a number of areas and a number of fields. I think for me personally, studying criminology has set me up with professional and practical skills that have really helped me integrate into a professional team within an organisation.
Hi, my name is Willow. I have a Bachelor of Psychological Science and a Bachelor of Criminology and Criminal Justice with Class 2A Honours. I graduated from Griffith University in 2012, and I now work as a research officer attached to the National Homicide Monitoring Program at the Australian Institute of Criminology. The highlight of my time at Griffith was definitely during completing my honours year. In terms of how the skills I obtained in honours assisted me to find a job and in my current career, there are probably three big things that I can think of that assisted with that in honours. First is marketability and competitiveness in the job market, building your foundational skills as a researcher, and finally work experience. So many people graduate with bachelor degrees, particularly in the social sciences, and I think that anything that sets you apart is an advantage. It's about your resume not ending up in the bin or not ending up in the reject pile. You need to go above and beyond that, and particularly in research, an honours degree is considered fairly mandatory, and your application probably wouldn't be considered without one. Honours year is really the time when you build and you learn your foundational research skills. It's the building blocks for your career in research that are crucial to getting a job and crucial to conducting research in the real world. It's about moving beyond your bachelor's degree to structuring a research project, applying for ethics, getting access to data, developing your data analysis skills, developing your writing skills. And while research projects and topics and data sets might change, the innate skills that you learn in honours from your honours year and then build upon you in your career don't actually change. So I've worked on a wide variety of topics from maritime piracy to fraud and currently homicide. And the skills I learned in my honours year didn't change. I still needed to create a data set. I still had to analyse data. I still had to clean my data set. I still had to make analytic decisions. So all those base skills that I learned in honours still applied and continue to apply. And your foundational research skills you learn in honours translate across many different operating platforms. So at university you learn in SPSS, whereas in my current job I use Stata. So while the operating platforms may change, the basics on how to run a conjunctive analysis or how to run a logistic regression don't actually change. You just have to learn how to transfer that knowledge into a new operating platform. It gives you the confidence to think and to learn on your feet. Honours covers a broad range of topics around data collection methods, and while it's not possible to experience everything in practice and everything that you'll come across as a researcher, it gives you the skills to build upon and deal with those situations when they arise. So when I was interviewing in Sydney in the watch houses and interviewing police detainees for a project at work, this was the first time I'd ever interviewed anybody in my life as part of a research project. And while I knew about interviewing in theory, from what I'd learned in my honours year, I'd never put this into practice. But once I'd started the training at work, the training about the program I was on, the training about the questionnaire I was administering in interviews, it all fell into place in terms of the theory that I had learnt in my honours year, and it all started to make sense. So I couldn't do the work that I do now without having my foundational skills, which I built on in my honours year. And finally, in our field, postgraduate study counts as work experience. It gives you the opportunity to publish your work. It gives you the opportunity to present at conferences. These opportunities all count on your resume. It gives you the opportunity to tutor, to do research assistant work, and to learn from some of the researchers here who are very, very well respected in their fields. So it gives you so much work experience to put on your resume and to work towards finding a job. Thank you.
So that concludes our honors information session. We would usually do this in person, but obviously with COVID, everything has gone online. So again, here's my information. Please do reach out to me if you have further questions. I'm happy to make time to answer any questions, to help walk you through the application, to arrange contact with potential supervisors if you need assistance with that, or just to answer any other general questions. I do look forward to talking to you. The past few years, we've had a very good and strong honors cohorts. Many of our honor students have gone on either to PhDs or excellent positions in industry and government, and we hope that continues for our current and future students. Have a good day.